Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Well, if you're new here, I would love you to hit that subscribe button and make sure you hit the notification bell so you can see exactly when a new video is up. And as always, I would love it if you could support me. My Patreon details are in the description. This helps me make more of these videos. So today we have come to Southwold, one of my favorite resorts here on the Suffolk coast. And on a beautiful day, well, you can see why. So we're going to be doing the full tour as always, checking out the seafront here in Southwold, walking through the town, checking out the pier, the famous Southwold Lighthouse, and also taking you down to Southwold Harbour too. So let's go. These are the famous beach huts here, as you can see. They're really kept well and painted up nicely. I say they're famous, and they're famous for good reason actually. How much do you think it would be to buy one of these? Exactly. Some of these are just crazy money. So from this side you can see they all have little windows on the back as well. It's got some nice boats in there. Having a look to one that's being done up here, you can see why they're really expensive. I mean, look at the view that you get. Also keeping up with the Joneses, making sure that yours is painted nicely. The other day I was down here and, well, I couldn't film just because it was so busy down here. Most of these have like a little kitchen inside them. I don't think you can stay in them overnight. And some of them have some really lovely little names. Gallon there, The Gap. And they all have their own unique character. So I've come down on a quieter day during the week where there's less people. Still some of them enjoying their beach huts. Just over here as well is the Southwold model yacht pond. In fact, they've got a couple of these. There's one further down the seafront which we'll take a look at as well. And you'll find a lot of swans around here. We've been so lucky with the weather today. Literally over there you can see how big those thunderstorms are. And over Southwold, well, we've got lovely sunshine. So pretty obviously, this is Southwold Pier. Now, I love this pier. It is so unique. We'll come to why in just a second. Up here, they were going to build a bit of a hotel, which never happened, unfortunately. The reason why this pier is so unique is because of some of the weird things it has on the end of the pier. Here is just some of the photos of some of the games that you can play. They're really bizarre. They don't cost hardly anything to play. The most weirdest things. You can pretend to walk a dog. That bathyscape is like really strange and it looks really scary, but when you go inside you'll notice it's not that bad. Micro break there where you can sit down in a comfy chair and watch an old film. It is great. These things along here with the solar panels, they actually move the Southwold Pier sign up and down, which is quite unique, and a great mural on the back of the pier from a local artist as well. So there's plenty more of these beach huts. In fact, as you can see, they just keep going on and on and on. I love the beach here in Southwold. Previous years it was a blue flag beach, so the water quality and the sand is amazing. We're walking up here to the world famous Southwold Lighthouse. Now again, steeped in history, but some interesting history from my side is this is where I decided for charity to do an abseil. Yes, embarrassing photo. If you think that's embarrassing, this one's even worse. I know. And you'll notice in Southwold there's some really quirky buildings, some beautiful houses as well. That's really random. Douglas House. If anyone wants to tell me what that's all about, please let me know in the comments. So I'm just going to leave the seafront behind for a second. We're going to walk into the heart of Southwold. Of course, the home to Adnams Brewery. Some beautiful little boutique shops and eateries. And loads of these really beautiful little pubs. And compared to places like Great Yarmouth and Lowestoft, you'll find a lot of boutique shops, and actually designer brand shops in here as well. If you ever want to come and get some fresh ice cream, I really do recommend this place for your fresh gelato. And amazing chocolates in there. In fact, on a very busy day, you'll find people queuing all the way down here. This is my favourite little fish and chip shop, and as always in Southwold, it's quite classy. You can even get your wine and your Adnams beer in there. And some famous buildings in Southwold, which you might see in certain films. In fact, the White Swan was in the movie David Copperfield. And just checking out this is the oldest shop in town. It's over 300 years old. And some people might talk about amber from Southwold. This is the world famous amber shop. It's Britain's largest and oldest amber specialist shop. You could even buy some here as well. Love the boutique shops here in Southwold. This is one of my favourite bakeries and delicatessens to come to when I'm in Southwold. And just like looking at these shops, just look at the detailing that's gone into the sign here. All these little windmills. And like most seaside resorts, Southwold is dealing with coronavirus very well, including one-way walking in the high street. So what I love about Southwold, you're walking around and you see the glimpses of the lighthouse there. And you can imagine on a foggy night like it was last night, the night before, when we had a lot of sea fog coming in, it must have been really pretty just to be walking around. Again, I'm going to keep pointing these out because you see so many of these little cottages and they've all got these stickers in the window. Stay here. Stay here. And there are so many that you can come and stay in Southwold. You can stay in the heart of the town or you can stay on the seafront. Again, I was saying about how many times you'll see this sticker in so many different little cottages in Southwold. And I have to show you this, right, where Fat Face is, if you walk down this road here, you will come to a very tiny but really beautiful building, the Electric Picture Palace in Southwold. It's a 70-seat cinema. It was designed by a local architect, and it was to recapture the experience of cinema going back in the 20th century. Definitely come here when it's open. So if we go back up there, that's the town centre. We're going to go this way now towards one of the most famous buildings here in Southwold. This gives you a little bit of a hint where we're going down here. A lot of people buying their beer, cider and gin. On the right here is Southwold Museum, and just overlooked by the church here in Southwold. You can see more hints of where we're going right now with some of the smoke. And I tell you what, the smell around here is amazing. You can see here where the whiskey distillery is. You can see the old oak barrels there. Just really smells gorgeous around here. It's so nice. Look at those lovely little cottages down there. As you know, this beer is pretty famous. An earliest record show the beer was brewed in Southwold as early as 1396, but Adnams didn't establish itself until 1872. Many of their beers are named after significant naval events as well, including the Battle of Solebay in 1672, which took place just off the coast of Southwold. And you'll notice how clean Southwold is, and there's a good reason for that. If you're caught littering, you'll get a £150 fine. This is also a famous place in Southwold. It's the Red Lion, which has been here for a very long time. They're serving takeaway drinks at the moment, and I was here at the weekend and literally this was absolutely packed. You couldn't move. People were clearly social distancing, but it just looked very busy. Yeah, definitely a lovely place to come and have a drink outside. A Pimm's maybe. So as we come away from the Southwold town area, and as we walk up here back towards the beach, we're going to be heading down towards Southwold Harbour. Someone has got a very lovely house here. Look at that. The view they've got. Interestingly, that building there used to be a community radio station. Definitely a unique studio overlooking the North Sea. And there's more beach huts all the way down here as well, as we take a look in the far distance. Not sure if you can see it, just over there is the pier. And just poking through there is Southwold Lighthouse. And of course, the Red Lion and all those people enjoying a lovely drink. We're going to walk down, a long walk, but don't worry, I'm going to speed it up, down to Southwold Harbour. And on the way, we're going to see some very unique houses that once again, you can actually rent. And just very quickly, just coming down to this little area here, come and get your teas and your coffees and your ice creams here at Gun Hill. So you can walk along this area here, or there is a road just down here. We're going to walk along the road just to see these unique houses. And these houses are so quirky. In fact, this one here reminds me of a fairy tale. I'll let you decide which fairy tale it could be out from. I'm thinking Hansel and Gretel myself. I was just saying how some of these you can actually book along here and everywhere in Southwold. Just look at that. And I think it's only right we have a little bit of a nose. I'm sure no one will moan. If you wanted to book this one, what it looks like. Here's the bedroom. And you can see they've got amazing views over towards the river and the marshes beyond. It must be good, they've got 5 stars. It has its own chair, a nice balcony as well. I mean, I'd definitely stay here. I mean, all it needs now, for me personally, is a hot tub in the corner. Look at the view. That's definitely my cup of tea. The balcony, again, another great view. Love those ships in the window there. And as I said before, there was another yacht pond further down. This one, back in the day, used to be very popular. Looks a little bit sad for itself now. You can just see some of the old photos there as well. The guys and the girls and the kids look with their model boats. And I love this area up here. Feels very oldie worldy. And again, feels like we could actually be in America with this wooden house here. There is even a rocking chair on the porch. How amazing is that? Person who lives there, very lucky. And you can see in the distance there, Southwold Lighthouse and the town. You can just see how far of a walk this is. There is obviously a road that goes along here, but I wanted to give it a walk. And if you like to fish, this is a good spot to come actually. I see a lot of people doing fishing around here on the mouth to the harbour. As the river goes along there. Walk down there in just a little bit because there's some lovely little fish and chip places to go and get, from what I hear, a great portion of fish and chips. And it's the furthest we can go at Southwold Harbour. As you can see, it's really fallen into disrepair recently. And over there in the distance, you can see Southwold Pier. You can see Southwold Lighthouse, the church. And this area actually is a really lovely beach for the kids to come down to. The water kind of comes in here just a little bit. It's like almost like a little pool for them to play in. And what you can see in the distance there's a bit of a dome. That is Sizewell Power Station. And locals And if you ask locals, they'll tell you that if you go swimming in the sea just behind the power station, which you shouldn't do actually, apparently the temperature of the water is a couple of degrees warmer. I also saw that on the Coast programme actually, so I think that is pretty true. Just there is Walberswick, and in fact this bit here is very famous for crabbing. In fact, you can do crabbing pretty much all the way along here and up there towards the harbour as well, as we'll see in a minute as I walk back down there. Just look at those thunderstorms. I am so glad the weather's been kind to me today, because I checked the forecast and it said some heavy thunderstorms for the east coast, and as you look out to sea, well, there's nothing really, just a few clouds, but all the thunderstorms are definitely staying over there. Thanks. So just here is Southwold Harbour. You can see just over the river over there is Walberswick. People doing the crabbing. You can do crabbing all the way along here. This is an interesting building. It's home to Coastal Voyager, and they take you out onto the North Sea. Do some pretty fast trips actually out, and some gentle river cruises up the River Blythe as well. And just here, if you wanted to pop over to check out Walberswick, there's a ferry that normally runs here, obviously because of the coronavirus, all closed at the moment, but you can pop over there. I think there's a pub over there or somewhere you can go and have a drink. I love the smell of the seaweed. You just can't beat that smell, can you? And definitely a must if you're here in Southwold Harbour, the Sol Bay Fish Company. You can go and get your fresh seafood. There's a fish and chip shop there.
Yeah.
You can get deep fried oysters here as well, which is unique. And as is Southwold, it's quite classy. You can get your wines, your cider, and your Adnams beer as well. It's good to see here on the tables, you've got your sanitizer, you've got your salt and your vinegar as well. So you can't not come and get some fresh fish and chips. Just look at that. What else? Got some chips in here as well. Batter sausage. Good old chunky chips too. Not bad. How cool are these tiny little sheds? Brightly coloured painted doors as well. Look really lovely. So as always, please give this video a thumbs up to tell other people you're enjoying the video. Please remember to subscribe. Make sure you check out my Patreon details. It helps me make more of these videos. And if you've got any suggestions where you would like me to go next, put them in the comments and I'll see you next time.